I'd been working on it for a long time. But hi, Roy and Charles and Tim.
Hi.
Hi. Charles has moved back to St. Louis. You want to tell a story, Charles?
I mean, not exactly, but yeah, I mean, I am back in St. Louis.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Gonna try to make sure. I would say I'm gonna try to make sure I don't fall into the same habits that I had when I was last year, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
Well, you got a really good job to start off.
Yeah,
with.
yeah.
Hey,
It's a really
Shu.
good opportunity, actually. I'm getting in as a manager at a place that's just opening. He has another business that's like really promising. It's like a food truck that he already has people contacting him wanting to like buy it and turn it into like a franchise and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's like really, really successful already. It's very new. But yeah, I get to be a part of something that's.
Yeah, and Tim, I am so sorry about that Sunday. It was nuts. But we'll make up for it. I think maybe we'll make it a little more participatory too. But anyway, maybe sometimes Gary, you can lead it or something, or Tim, But because my wife says that there's going to be more of these. How are you doing, Shu?
What? Your wife says there's going to be more of these.
Well, more. She wants me to be a bailman.
Send those elves after your wife.
Well, yeah, and then today I couldn't get Zoom loaded up. How's Shu doing?
Yes, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, great. Well,
Yeah.
hi, Shu. I was, Tim sent me a very interesting article about the centaur, and now Charles had a dream about the Minotaur. It was the Minotaur, right, Charles? Not the centaur.
That was I remember that one.
Yeah. Where it came out. And now the thing about the centaur, and I've been just thinking about this even before Tim sent it, is we are all centaurs, that I'm getting more and more convinced that the body is, when we descend into the depths, we're descending into the body, and that the dreams come out of our bones and out of our cells. And it's our souls are the eternal aspect, an eternal aspect that dwells or is embodied in us. And the rooted aspect is that is our bodies, and the plant that grows above it is our head. So the centaur, unlike the Minotaur, its lower half is nature, and its upper half is upper body and lower body. There's this wonderful thing in Esther Harding about this woman had this dream that she wore a fish skin, and depending on what the phase of the moon was. And at the phase of the moon where it is completely dark, she's not human anymore. So anyway, it's just been really it's something. I started this with this embodied, this sacrocranial therapy, but. Well, this is one thing Marion Woodman says too, is that that the feminine is not female. The feminine is presence, being here in this moment, as if it's the eternal now. It is process, not goal. You're more concerned with spinning the thread or crocheting or anything, rather than what you end up with. So, and what Jung used to say is that the goal is the journey. There is no goal at the end of the journey. The goal is the journey. And the other aspect is the paradox of being alive, this great mystery. It's not possible, you know, particularly consciousness. It surpasses all laws of thermodynamics. You know, isn't possible. It's like the bumblebee can't fly, according to people who study bumblebees. But then the other thing is reflection. Every day you try to pull those little divine moments out of the day and make them a bead on your divine necklace, you know. And the other thing is receptivity. You know, you see the tulip, you really see it. You see the hummingbird, you see the child, you hear the waterfall, you know, I mean, and you really do hear it. And then the other aspect is just relatedness, and that's the feminine. And the other thing she says is, I think, is real interesting. And then we can review Charles' dream if you want. And was that we all, both men and women, have feminine souls. It means that they are related to the mother and related to the rooted world. You know, I think this is going to come up in Roy's dream. Is what is masculine about a plant? You know, that's what I'm wondering. I'd like, can't wait to hear. I'll put Roy's dream in there. But anyway, the centaur. Now look at the Minotaur. The Minotaur is human below and animal above. So that's a little bit different. But anyway, I'm going to read that, Tim, and we'll review it at some point about the centaur.
Well, I'm hoping that the author will come and join us. So
well, yes, I would love to hear her talk about her article, if nothing else.
Yeah.
I don't think, the only thing I think is, I don't think she's going to be too impressed with our fabulous discussion, but we'll see.
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
This feels really meaty to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm open to it, but you know, we had a couple here. I just think we're not academic enough. We're not going to further their careers. You know, what Young said at his 85th birthday, or maybe it was his 80th birthday, that he Barbara Hannah says, you know, when you just met with you know, where they just let anybody come in, she says, you seemed like you were enjoying yourself so much with just, you know, the people of Zurich, that anybody that wanted to come in could come in. And then later it was with all the with analysts from all over the world. And what Marie-Louise von Franz said about him, all they're interested in is prestige, power, fame, and fortune. PPFF. And they all, who was sitting closest to Young, who was, you know, I mean, who got the most face time with Young, and he was just very uncomfortable with that. But anyway, we'll see. I mean, I would love to have her input on it. But anyway, did you guys want to finish Charles' dream? And we could, Charles is here. We did kind of talk about his dream a little, but
did that ever get typed up? Always
yes, it did.
have a hard time holding those
yes.
together.
Charles, do you want to we can just review the dream, because Charles and I talked about it a little bit. That's how I found out about his he's come back. It is whatever it is. I mean, he wasn't getting along with somebody there, you know, and it was really a downer. And I think he learned what he needed to learn there. I really do, you know. I mean, because he's never going to go back, I don't think, to the to what it was before. Okay, let's see. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, okay, this is it right here.
Well, I hope it was overall a good experience.
Yeah,
Sounds like a beautiful opportunity.
I think it was. I think that Charles found out what he needed to find out there, but he said too that it was a little bit, and it's like me too, the flightiness. We're all kind of a little flighty, but let's see, there we go. All right, there's that. Okay. Now, I think this is going to have a kind of a surprising ending to it too. I think we got a little different reading on it than we did before. Okay. All right. Did you want to read it, Charles, or go ahead?
Sure.
All right. Yeah, I think your microphone is stuck in your shirt again. Or you're just not, we can't hear you.
I'm just gonna rejoin on my computer.
Yeah, okay, that's okay. That's okay. All right. Maybe I can start on it. He was at school. Oh, here he is. All right. Are you there, Charles? Yeah, hopefully you got a good internet signal in St. Louis. Are you there?
Yeah, can you guys
okay.
do?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, all right. All right. Well, I lost the chat.
Oh, okay. Here, I'll put it in there again. All right. Let's see. Select all. Copy. Paste. Just a minute here. All right. Okay, and I'm wondering if I can.
So,
yeah, go ahead.
I was at school. I was a child. I mean, we were all children. It was like a grade school, and there was a concert going on outside the school in the grass field where all the kids would play. And there's a heavy metal band performing, and the vocalist is a female. And there's a part of the song where the people in the audience would get a chance to sing along. They would point the microphones at members of the crowd, and I wanted to sing along with them. They looked right at me, and I made eye contact with them. They pointed their microphones towards me, but I was too shy, and they moved on and picked someone else. The next thing I know, I try to move forward, and I tumble over a wooden railing that just appeared all of a sudden right in front of me, and I fall head first into the grass. I pick myself up and look around, and the concert is now suddenly ending. Now everyone was making their way to the buses to go home. I look at the time and it's 9:19. I think, oh, that's the time I have to catch my bus. I run over to the bus stop, and I'm wondering if I can actually just go home with my friend, but I don't know if his parents will let me. One of the faculty members is there, and she says something like, "Oh, is he cheating on you?" I'm confused and annoyed by this, and I say, "No, it's not like that, friend." But she just keeps repeating the question over and over again, and it becomes quite irritating.
Okay, now this is just my theory that this is the story of Parsifal's first visit to the Grail Castle. Absolutely, the first visit. He goes to this. He's a youth. He goes to the departure point, the place of learning. Child in a youthful state of innocence. There is a concert going on in a grass field. This concert is solely for the benefit of the Dream Ego, for Charles. It is an invitation to him, and the anima is singing. It is an invitation to the Dream Ego to join in singing with this really almost divine figure of the singer in the band that has to do with the transformational metals, the heavy metals of this gold. So our metals are not the common metals. That's what this band is. It's an alchemical transformational group. So it's a transformational concert, and the anima is going to sing in it, and she invites the dream ego to sing with her. And when the dream ego wants to sing with her, I mean, the metals are, lead, mercury, silver, and gold primarily, but you could include copper, iron, and tin. But the the dream ego wants to sing with this alchemical transformational musical aspect who is led by the anima, wants to. And yet when when the invitation comes, you must accept the invitation. And you accepting this invitation is a monumental event in your life. And we can't act. We decline, even though we wanted the invitation. When it's actually given to us, like Parsifal, a knight must not ask questions. So totally failed in the first attempt. And as Parsifal wakes up the next morning, the Grail castle is empty. After this, the concert ends. After this, the Parsifal leaves the Grail castle, and as he goes out the drawbridge, it's pulled up and trips him and his horse. Charles trips over this fence that suddenly just appears out of nowhere. Okay. And so at that point, he's tumbled back in to mundane reality. Okay. But you know who visits mundane reality for Parsifal? Kundry. She's this woman almost has monkey hands and a very stylish hat. And she follows Parsifal everywhere he goes and mocks him. So this faculty woman is in the same role of Kundry. After we fumbled this invitation from the goddess of the alchemical group, she is mocking us. I don't think there's anything in here about that has to do with I don't think the point of the dream is anything to do with sexual orientation. I think it's just mocking. You would rather spend time with your male friends than you would to unite with the divine goddess, with an invitation that would have been accepting it would have been totally transformational of our existence. And anyway, that 919, of course, is the triple of the triples. It's the last number in the series 1 through 9, and the next number is unity. 1. So you go 9 is the upper, lower, and middle realms times 3. Hermes was called Hermes Trismegistus. Thrice great, and this is 3 3s. So it represents this totality of and 919 is it's just a I think now I don't think the cheating on you, I think, is not the point of the dream. I think the point of the dream is the magical part of the dream is this concert which we turned down. Gary, what do you think?
I find that really interesting, you know, you tying it back to the other myth. The mocking. It's like, you know, I think, you know, when we go through something, especially something that makes us feel ashamed, like, oh my gosh, you know, we had the possibility to, you know, to sing out and we missed it. And then, you know, not only do we miss it, but then an obstacle appears and the first thing we do is fall flat on our face. And the first thing that happens when we get up, the concert's over, everyone's leaving. And
The
then
magical spell is over. Yeah.
yeah,
Go ahead.
and then we're looking for solace. And wow, where do you get solace from? You get solace from a friend. And so you want to go with the friend. And yet, you know, here is the mocking faculty member.
All knowing, omniscient. How does she know all this?
And that, you know, the weird thing is that oh, is he cheating on you? The only way that makes sense to me is what if it refers to an aspect of ourselves that we had to count on in order to sing? And what if she's saying, oh, is he cheating on you in response to that part of ourselves, which didn't come through and enable us to do it?
Yeah, that's very good, Gary. I think that is, I didn't really focus on the cheating part, just because I just was starting to think it's not the point of the dream, his sexual orientation. I think it's just, it is this, she represents the divine world, and she is coming into your room. You're seeking solace from a friend after you turn down this divine invitation. And she is saying, oh, is this your lover? You had your divine marriage, chance at the divine marriage over here. You muffed it. So maybe he's your lover. He's the one you run to instead of her, you know? And I don't know. I mean, that's just the kind of the way my feeling of it is. But I'm sure those words are ringing in Charles' ear. They're just very, very demeaning and humiliating. What do you think, Roy?
Okay. Yeah, since he's a child and he's in school, I'm thinking this has to do with an early trauma. And you don't have heavy metal bands at an elementary school or even a high school for that matter. And so the metal band is sort of representative of the irrational. It's the opposite of classical music. It's emotional. It's right brain, irrational. And then he has an impediment, the wooden rail. And the wooden rail is sort of a man-made thing. It's a natural wood, but it's man-made because it's a wooden rail. That's the impediment. He might have had some sort of impediment as a child. And that's when he needs his left brain in order to bring order to the situation out of the chaos. You know, like Marduk and Tiamat, order out of chaos. That's when he needed the order. But he has an impediment represented by the wooden rail. And this dream sort of predicts the future. It's precognitive. The woman saying, is he cheating on you? It produces shame in Charles. Charles had to leave his job and he had to come home. And I'm sure he went through some emotions sort of like in the area of shame because of that. He had to ducktail home. Now, he might have had his reasons and stuff, but it might be related to the wooden rail and an impediment in his early childhood. I know this is highly speculative, but it's an interesting twist.
Yes, that I like that. I mean, I'm minimizing the end of the dream, but that is not necessarily. I'm speculating too. What do you think, Tim?
I think you guys are on top of it. The only other thing that for some reason I keep coming back to is the timing between being pitched into the grass after tripping over the rail and the end of the concert. And I'm just trying to pull out of my imagination if there's some kind of change in the call from the anima. So she's inviting us to sing, and he's too shy to sing. So the next thing that happens is all of a sudden there's this rail and he falls flat on his face. And I remember Jung talking about, I think this may be on Memories, Dreams, and Reflections, that the anima pitches the man face first into the earth. And what it makes me think of is sometimes, you're kind of bumbling along and making a mess of things, and all of a sudden you get pitched right into the breast of nature. Your face is right in the dirt, and I wonder if it's some kind of a signal that, okay, this call from the stage didn't work, then this is going to work, and you're going to get plastered right into the body or something like that.
It certainly is a consequence. There was a consequence to it, and the two things where the ego is tripped up, and then there is this 919, and then there's the mocking aspect, and the dream ego, I don't know whether sincerely or not sincerely, is denying that they're her claim, but I think it is more just mocking. Shu, what do you think?
I don't really have much to add, to be honest. I think, yeah, all your interpretations have been really masterful, actually. I do see now the idea of that union, like siding with the, with the animus and like a shame or a fear of the intensity to unite with the anima. I can see that now that you've explained it that way. But I guess the overwhelming feeling I get from it all is the shame component around the powerless or shame component, which you access through connection with the feminine.
When after Parsifal, he meets the Fisher King's brother. He's a hermit, and he tells him the story, and that he says you can't go back. You only get this invitation to the heavy metal band once, and or to the Grail Castle once, so you'll never see it again. He says, I will see it again. And he basically is just through his action. Now, how does he heal it? Through his action. From then on, he keeps defeating night after night, saving castle after castle, lifting enchantment after enchantment. And he sends all the people he's vanquished back to Arthur's court to pay tribute to him. And Arthur's court is just amazed by this almost constant stream of people on the behalf of Parsifal, giving tribute to the king, And the other thing that happens too, this is amazing, is, his father, Parsifal's father, was a knight who went to the Crusades, and with an Arab princess, he fathered another son whose name was Fair Fizz, and he was half white and half black, and at some point, the Parsifal and Fair Fizz get in combat. Parsifal's sword breaks. Fair Fizz says, "I'm not fighting a man with a sword." They find their brothers. So united with the nature being, this Fair Fizz, they do find the Grail Castle. So it's a combination of action and being united to this person in nature. He gets the second invitation. And I thought I'd show you this picture of Kundry, the one who mocks him. Now this is from Wolfram, but she was supposed to look a little bit about a monkey, but she follows him everywhere he goes, rides a mule, by the way, a big longer mule. And she, everywhere he goes, to any festival where there's a lot of people, she comes and tells the whole world how shameful he is, so she's this one that says that he had the opportunity to heal the wounded king, and to basically to Jung said that we're all Parsifal. We never ask the question. Every dream we need to ask the question. Every figure that we meet, we need to ask the question. Every hypnagogic vision we have, we need to incorporate it. And I'm just feeling that right now because I've been told that by the anima, that you must, if you want to do soul work, if you want to be close to me, you need to do soul work. If you want to be close to the soul, you need to do soul work. And by the way, soul work is very feminine. It's a you are leaving this world of action and directed thinking, and now what are you doing? You're looking at images from the invisible world. But anyway, Charles, do you have any comments about this dream at all? I mean, you've had some time to reflect upon it. You look great, by the way.
Thanks. I don't know. I think on, what was it, last Thursday when we talked, I think we covered it a lot. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, the tripping over the railing just makes me think I just sort of kind of, I don't know, just stumble and fall at in the presence of life, and I'm just sort of tripping up in when I'm confronted with nature and growth and development and just living, and I've just tripped up, and by the time I get back up on my feet, I need to go out to sort of, face the world. I have this kind of, nagging character, not letting me forget, the kind of mistakes that I've made. And now I want to, I don't know, I want to go home with someone and hang out with my friends instead of try to correct what I've done. And yeah, I don't know, it seems very much like the Parsifal myth. Yeah, it's a dream that's still very relevant, very relevant.
Yeah,
though it happened, I think in March. But yeah.
My wife had a dream about she was at a wedding She's looking for a white purse and can't find it anywhere. You know, and she goes home and doesn't have it. Well, you know, I told her, I said, I think the white purse is the divine uterus. You know, this represents this spiritual uterus, and you have to go home with the ordinary one. You know, and so we started talking about, well, who's writing these dreams? You know, wisdom writes them. And by the way, wisdom isn't just wisdom is competence at living. You know, it's not knowledge. It is competence at being alive. You know, and what is the rudder for the ship of the competence at life ship? It is the dreams. You know, if we want to navigate the sea of life, the rudder to help us navigate is our dreams, you know, and they will guide us surely, you know, not linearly or, you know, straight, but at least they are, the actual, I was thinking of tripping over the wood fence, shows, Charles was saying, it shows something I'm very well acquainted with, the awkwardness. I'm very awkward, you know, at living sometimes, you know, I have been very much so. And, but to me right now, the redemptive cure to this awkwardness at being alive are our dreams and connection with wisdom, which is in the body, you know, and wisdom is the competence of being alive. And the competence of being alive is not going to come from your ego. It's going to come from the wisdom of the depths. And to me, a descent is descent into our little earth, our bodies, you know. And so anyway, that's my story. But anybody got any more comments about it?
No.
You know, okay, well, thank you, everybody. Feel free to pipe up later if something thinks up. But why don't we now? Well, let's do Roy's dream real quick. But if anybody else has got a dream, you can at least we can at least introduce it. But Roy's got a wonderful dream here. Put this in the chat. Okay, was it all there? Let's see. No, it's not all there. Here, just a second. Oh, this is so beautiful. We missed this last little sentence is so good. Okay. Select. Okay. This is a dream with got a lot of stuff in it. Okay. There you go. Okay, do you want to read it, Roy?
Oh, sure. Okay, yeah, this is an old dream in 2018 because I run dry. You took so many dreams from me, run the spring dry. So anyway, this is a dream about going up the mountain, which is a theme of mine. Tim's usually trying to come down the mountain, but I'm usually trying to go up the mountain. Okay, it's called the Magic Stick. I was on a mountain volunteering with people that were gardening. They were potting plants and ran out of soil. I went back to headquarters to get more soil, but I could not find any. They had lots of dog and cat food, but no dirt. I climbed to a higher level on the mountain. The oak forest turned to spruce forest. The old pines were magnificent. I saw a little girl. I found this magic stick outside. It was carved, but I don't recall what images were on it. The stick was old and weathered gray. I took it. I could fly with this magic stick, and I flew to my level on the mountain. I was looking for dirt, but could not find any. I thought about the stick and knew it wasn't mine. I had better take it back. I arrived at the upper level at night. There was a large 2-story white house. I saw a little girl in her room and she let me spend the night. The next morning, I confronted the father. He looked like Patrick Stewart. I told him my story. He said the stick was kept in a glass case, but this stick tended to wander. I said, it is the fate of the stick to live here, and it is my fate to return to my level. Since the stick says nothing, that is that. I woke up.
Okay, well, that is now the magic stick is a magic wand. It's the staff of Merlin. It's the caduceus. You know, it is just this. You know, I just want to get here's like a picture of the magic stick. You know. It's just now this one likes to wander. Okay, but let's start at the beginning of the dream here. Okay, this okay, we are again on a mountain, you know. Now the mountain is near a high point, so it has something to do with this, it is getting more spiritual, you know. And now we're volunteering with mountain people to do gardening, you know, and tending the rooted things. So you know the rooted things. And now this is what I was thinking, Roy, about how could a plant be related to the masculine world? I mean, it is completely feminine. And so the fact that
No, there's totally masculine plants, like
Okay.
masculine papaya plants. There's no way they're going to be fertile and produce fruit. They're masculine. You got the anthers and the pistil. You know, the anthers are the male or sexual organs, and the pistil is a female sexual organ. Very male-female world.
Well, I know it's a male-female world, but the rooted world is not, it is close to the earth, it's allied to the earth, and it's not very, it's not ethereal, you know. I mean, it is like my woodpecker woman, you know, her birds stay close to the tree, you know. That's what I meant by it's feminine. I didn't say it's female, you know, it's feminine. It's earthbound. Let me put it that way.
Okay, just leave sexuality out of plants.
Yes,
They have a lot of sexuality, but they would be under the feminine archetype.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's earthbound. Let's put it that way. It's just earthbound, which tends to represent the earth and the feminine. Not the feminine, not the female, but the feminine. Not the sex, but the energy of receptiveness, staying in one place. Now, this comes up good with the wandering aspect. Okay, now, so we're volunteering with these people, with these rooted, and something that's rooted has a hidden, unseen depth, something about it that's not seen. Now, here's an interesting thing. The dream ego or the people have run out of earth. They've run out of earth. Okay. What does that mean? We've run out of earth. Okay, now the dream ego can't find any. So it's low on earth. The dream ego can't find any, it's low on earth. Now, this place has lots of food for the instinct, for the cats and dogs, the instinctive aspect, but it's low on earth. What does that mean? Isn't that a mystery? Okay, now we ascend to a little bit of a higher plane. And so because we went from where there was the oak trees. Now the oak trees are the hardwoods. They tend to be the permanent woods. You know, the woods that are more related to the eternal aspect and their divine aspects. You know, seers would eat acorns before they would prophesy, you know. But then we go up to where the soft woods are, you know, the lighter woods of the and they're Christmas trees. You know, they tend to be assigned with the world of light as we're going up. So we went from the oak trees. Oak trees are we had oak trees, and they get hit by lightning all the time. And I guess that we're not the only ones. So they were associated with Zeus a little bit. But anyway, now there's ancient pine trees up there, and they're magnificent. Now we see a little girl, and she is you know, when we find this magic stick, okay, it's this a magic stick. It's it's either a magic wand, something that someone involved with the invisible world needs. Okay, the staff of Wotan, this the staff of Caduceus, the Asclepius had. I mean, it is a connection with the invisible world. Okay, so we went from the rooted world. We don't have any earth. Then, for some reason, we ascend to a place that has lighter trees, and there we find the feminine and the magic stick. Now, this is, I think this is going to be one that's going to take some time to digest. And okay, now the stick, here's the other thing. It's carved. It's the stick of images. It's full of images. So it's really a dream stick. That's another symbol that it's related to the realm of images, which is the realms where dreams come from. It's full of images, and it is ancient and weathered. So it's one that has been here for many, many seasons. And now now you're gonna have to explain this, but we become more ethereal. The stick would allow us to fly to any level of the mountain. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so did we fly up?
Yes.
Or okay.
I flew up.
Yeah, you flew up to where the white two-story house was, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, now was the stick, you found the stick lower in a lower realm.
Yeah.
And then the stick took you to the higher realm, the more spiritual realm. And that's where we find the two-story house, you know, and the the little girl who invites us to stay in a room, and the wise old man. Now, the wise old man tells us something very interesting. He's well acquainted with this stick that's carved and full of images, and he says it's supposed to stay in the was it a glass case or just a case?
I like a glass case.
Yeah, a glass
Yeah.
case. That's what I was thinking. That it's just you know, supposed to stay in it, but it likes to wander. Now, what does that mean? Now, there's Patrick Stewart. Is this who the guy you're talking about?
That's the man.
Okay.
Make it so.
Well, yeah, and he's sort of you know, related to the celestial realms. Okay, you know, I mean, he's a celestial figure. Yes, and okay, well, anyway, so he tells us now. So the stick, we know it's not ours, and then now the Dream Ego says this, right? It says that the stick is it is the fate of the stick to live here. This is what you're saying to Patrick Stewart. It is the fate of the stick to live here, and it is my fate to return to my level. Okay, so you know that the stick is going to remain in the upper realm of the high mountains. I mean, that's its home. It likes to wander, but we know we can't live in the upper regions of the high realms. We need to go back to the lower realm, even though you know, we seem to have an affinity with this carved stick. We wish it was ours, but we can't keep it. But it's seemingly, we need to, I want to quickly review the thing. And then, since the stick says nothing, we're expecting the stick to talk. Then we say, since it doesn't say anything, that is that, and you wake up. So now let's just go over the certain things here. We're working with plants, with the mountain people, with earthbound, rooted things. Ooh, a large part of it is under the earth. They lack earth. We lack earth. You know, now they've got plenty of food for the instinctual aspect. The instinctual aspect is not earth. There's a difference between the instinctual and the, oh, what does earth mean? It means standpoint. It means actually, I really think it means is a that we have a standpoint in the unconscious, this kind of earthbound. I mean, well, I know this comes up with Charles' dreams all the time. He lacks earth too. But what he lacks earth from is because there's not enough islands in the water. What you lack earth from is to provide a proper environment for the plant world, which I'm saying, I think, Roy, in this dream represents the feminine world, not the female world, but the feminine energy, the earthbound energy, you know, and where you're flying with the stick. So there's this contrast between the earth that's missing, the stick that allows us to fly. We go up and we find that we find a riddle. I don't have the answer to it yet, but what do you think? Gary, do you want to talk about it a bit or not?
Yeah, to me, there's almost two stories in this, because we begin with the lack of dirt, and he goes to headquarters, and headquarters can't provide dirt. And then at the end of the story of the dream, when he's talking with Patrick, this stick is really not meant to be out and used. It's meant to be kept in a glass case, but it does tend to wander. So, and then he says, it's the fate of the stick to live here, and it is my fate to return to my level. So to me, that sounds like, and going back to his level, he's going to deal with the lack of earth. And, and so everything else was just an interlude. Now the interlude, is its own story. And the girl in the story is like, that's like a whole nother separate part of it, that she invites him into, the dwelling in the heavens, really, to spend the night. Well, what's the night? It's where we receive, the lunar messages. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's going to take a while.
What now? Let me just ask you a question, everybody. I mean, just you, but everybody. But why do you think that this caduceus or this magic wand or this stick, this image stick, one that's full of images, likes to wander, tends to wander? You haven't answered that. I mean, I don't really, but I just wonder if you have any right now. What do you think, Roy?
The same reason I like to wander. Are you, Greg? We're orphans and we wander.
There you go. It's an orphan stick. Remember, we're all orphans, all living in an orphanage. Every one of us, you know. And what that means is we've been separated from the eternal, you know. And so we've been separated from our true native home, which is the realm of soul, you know. And we're the reason we're orphans is because we are egos that are imprisoned in time and space. And yet we have this eternal aspect within us, which is devalued. It's not valued. It's not valued. It's nonsense. You know, it's irrational. It doesn't help us obtain power, prestige, fame, or fortune, you know. But yet it's our life. You know, it really is our life. So this stick, this magic stick, this dream stick, why do you think it's carved with images? What is that symbolic?
It's a sacred object.
And it's ancient and weathered, you know. What do you think, Tim?
Boy, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. I've got a question. When he says, it's my fate to return to my level, is it the Father speaking about himself? Or is
That's
he
me
talking about,
speaking.
it's you
That's me
speaking?
speaking. Those are my words.
Oh, I see.
Speaking to Patrick Stewart.
I see. So I'm kind of concentrating on the stick. I wonder if the power that the stick has needs to be contained, and that's why it has to be in this glass box, or if our tendency is to take that kind of power and isolate it so that it's because it's too much to comprehend, or it's too wild, or it's too powerful for us to control. Did it feel to you like you had control of it?
No, it's both. It can cause trouble, and the power needs to be contained. It's both.
Boy, it's such a great image. And boy, I love the image of the little girl and the father in the White House. And it's just really rich. I'm just trying to constellate all that stuff. So
Yeah.
that's all
Yeah,
I
I think
got.
it's going to take a while to digest this one. Really, it is. But don't you sense that there is a point to it? You know, that each aspect of it is essential, and without each aspect, helping the mountain people with the rooted world, finding out that they lack earth, and that we can't find any. Okay, and we go to another place and still can't find any. But yet, what they do have is food for the instincts. There's plenty of food for the instincts, which is sort of the dynamic aspect of being alive. But there isn't much earth for that rooted world, which is part of being alive. You know, the idea of the difference between a tree, which stays in the same place its whole life, and a deer who wanders over the whole forest. Is one better than the other? Is the deer better than the tree, or more better than the tree? You know, I don't know. I mean, the tree would probably beg to differ. You know, it stays where it is. Isn't that so mysterious? Can you imagine living in one spot for 150 years? It's that one spot. I mean, there's just something very mysterious about that. And then the instinctive aspect, there's plenty of food for wandering around, but there isn't a lot for sitting still. And sitting still, it means brooding. It's more a feminine activity. The sitting still is being related to the feminine. You know, it is it's what's called brooding. You know, sitting. So, by the way, Tim, I was hearing somebody say, have you noticed all the words about art? They deliver. They bring. They you know, all the words of describing creating a piece of art are the ones of delivering babies. You know, I mean, this guy was going through all the different terms. I can't remember what they were, but he says they all have to do with the birth. You know, but anyway, the instinctive, plenty of that, but not a lot for sitting and brooding. Okay, then we go to the magic stick. Now, where do we discover exactly? Where do we discover the magic stick? Oh, when you go to a higher level, looking for Earth?
Yeah, going up the mountain, I found it maybe midways or something.
Yeah, once you left the realm of the oaks, left the realm of the hardwoods, and moved
In the
into the realm-
transitional space.
Yeah, you had a liminal crossing. You crossed a threshold, and you went from the area of in the planted world or the rooted world, the oaks. It's such a hard wood, you know. I don't think there's any. I mean, dealing with this derecho, I don't think there's any wood harder than sycamore, but oak is pretty strong, you know. But then you go into the realm of the softer woods, the conifers, you know, and they are green all year, and they have a softer wood, so there's more air in their wood, you know, and that's where we find this magic carved stick, you know. So we went from not having enough earth to finding this stick of images. It takes us up to the upper world. We see the wise old man. He tells us a very important secret. Okay, now he's telling us a secret about ourselves, not about the stick, I don't think. He's telling us it's supposed to, there's an aspect of it that it is supposed to stay in a sterile, anything that's covered in glass has been insulated from the feeling function. But this one likes to wander. It likes to go, it doesn't want to be a concept. It wants to participate in the world. Now there's something about, like Roy was saying, this represents Roy. There's an aspect of Roy likes to wander. You know, Roy is supposed to stay home, but no, he likes to wander, you know. And so Roy and this stick of images are almost like twin brothers, almost, you know. What do you think, Charles?
I'm not exactly sure. It's a really cool dream, but I don't know. Like, yeah, there's plenty of food for the cats and dogs. It's like, but there's not enough. There's not enough substance for the like plants to like take root and grow. Do you know what type of plants they were? Were they like edible plants or more like flowers and things?
Yeah, well, the dream was probably referring to the fruit and spice park.
Okay.
Where I'm over there. And all my life I've lived on rocks. In Virginia, where I'm from, rocks. Down here is just one big rock. You know, so we're always buying tons of dirt. Dirt's a big problem. And so just all kind of plants from all over the world.
But you need rooted things. You love the rooted world, you know, and it really, you seek it out and try to be part of it, don't you think? I mean, why do you volunteer so much?
Well, I've always volunteered for stuff, and I really like gardening. So, they're just down about 100 yards from my house, and so okay, man, I'm for that. And it's just dirt is, for me, it has to do with fertility, because up in New England it's rocky, and they don't do a lot of farming, it's manufacturing and stuff. But down south we do a lot of farming. Out in Iowa you do a lot of farming where there's a lot of dirt, and it has to do with fertility, and then you can grow or whatever grows in that area very well.
I know my Norwegian grandpa got, or when he was in Norway, got a letter from someone in Iowa saying, "Oh yeah, and we can plow the field for 100 feet and not hit one rock."
Oh,
And
wow.
everybody thought he was lying.
Yeah,
Oh, there is no such place in the
that's
entire
some
universe.
bragging there, man.
Yeah. But anyway, that's an aspect, the fertile earth. See, it really represents the furrow in the earth represents the feminine fertility, and it is there's this aspect of it is a waiting. Hey, how many times have you had dreams about the plowed field?
Mm-hmm.
The one that is ready for at least 2, maybe 3.
I live next to a plowed field, like 10-acre plowed field.
Yeah,
right
but it is a field ready for the birth. And now the aspect of a lot of your dreams are very elemental. I think that we have to find out there is some aspect in here that represents the feminine, even though we don't see her. We do see the young girl, but I think I didn't mean to say anything about the sexual life of plants. I was talking about the fact that
you can't talk about fertility without bringing it up.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, compare that with the birds. The birds represent something that is above the earth, and that tends to represent the spiritual, and this differentiating aspect of spirit, where something that can't leave the earth and stays in one place for 150 years or 2,000 years if it's a redwood tree. There's an aspect of the woman sits. Now this is not to be taken literally, but in early societies, she would sit in her place and take care of the children and the hearth, and the man would set the perimeter for it, and protect that perimeter. So the man tends to wander out to the boundaries and protect it, where the feminine is can be protected within the vessel. But anyway, that's neat. That we're not getting too close to the meaning yet. We're gonna have to interview Roy a little bit. What do you think, Shu? Maybe you can solve the riddle.
Yeah, I definitely can't solve it. But yeah, I'm just intrigued by the playfulness of the dream. And that's this wandering stick idea, and that can't be contained. And it really reminds me of that Hermes sort of concept of movement, and like for the magic to occur, it can't be stagnant, but things need to change and evolve continually and morph and into things. And there's this trickster or this playfulness around, and that to me is like also that little girl, the youthful. It also reminds me of that myth of Ceres, the Kairos, the idea of the opportune time. And Ceres is very Hermes-like. It also has winged feet, and he had a curl at the front of his head, because you can't, you have to be aware of the opportunity coming to you So you can grab the lock at the front of his head, but once the opportunity passes, you know, the head is bald at the back and there's no way to grab that opportunity. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of this dream, that there are moments of magic in various times and certain parts of life that can only be seized if there is this sort of surrender to the feminine and this playfulness and you know, playing with all of the elements at once, like, you know, masculine and feminine, like being at all places at once, that kind of thing.
Well, I think maybe we might want to revisit this one next time, but I just want to review the images in it. And then Roy, I'd like to hear what you have to say about it. The images are the mountain, okay? The rooted world, the fact that it lacks earth, the instinctual is well fed, okay? The magic stick, which is covered with images, allows us to ascend. And we know that we can't keep it. It belongs to someone else. Who does it belong to? You know, now you can say it belongs to Patrick. Did Patrick say he owned it? Well, it belongs in a case.
It's the ethereal world. It belongs to the
Yes.
ethereal world, and that's one of the bows up there. And it would have objects like that in it.
Yeah, what's Patrick doing up there? Patrick Stewart and his young daughter.
He's one of the inhabitants of the ethereal world.
Mhm. So he probably, yeah, he represents some kind
Like
of
Gandalf or something like that.
Yes, yeah. And now don't you think that there is a relationship between us and the stick? Because we're both wanderers. You know,
Well,
I mean, don't you think that there's a reason to say it's a wandering stick?
I'm able to find things like that. You know, I have all my life. I've found stuff like that. And I realized that it's a sacred object and it can't be possessed. But I have come across these objects.
And it is my fate to return to my level.
Mhm.
Okay, we can't remain here. So what we're really saying there is we have this wandering stick is very close to us, but I mean, there's some aspect that is part of us, but it must remain in the ethereal world, and we must remain in the world of time and space. And yet my fate is to be here, your fate is to be there, but that doesn't mean that we are not brothers. You know, that we're not related to each other. You know, well, let's digest this and discuss it next time a little bit, because I think it does need digestion. Now, Gary or Shu, do you have a dream or not?
Got a
I just
dream
had a
about
small
shoes
one.
then. Let's do shoes then.
Yeah, go ahead. Well, why don't we do Shu's and Gary's real quick? Go ahead, Shu. We only got
mine's
15.
just a really short one anyway.
All right, go ahead. I'm going to write it down here.
Yes, I've not written down, but I was just driving around with a girlfriend and we were sort of going to parties, you know, from place to place. And we got to this place and we were at this party, but for some reason I decided to run a ritual like by myself. And it was for a friend's father that had passed away. And so I'd set, you know, all the candles and incense and everything out, but every time I attempted to do anything, the candles kept blowing out, the incense kept going out, like nothing was going right, you know, and I was just trying to like keep the cat flames alive and all that sort of stuff. And then, yeah, that's basically the dream.
Okay, let me just try to repeat it. You're driving around with some friends, other girlfriends. And
Just one, yeah.
Yeah, with one. And then you go where now? Where do you go?
Just to a house party, just
To a party.
someone's house, yeah.
Now at this party, it is full of lighted candles and incense. Is that right?
No, it was just me. I decided to do a ritual there, and I was
Yes.
by myself. But the ritual just went haywire. Like the candles kept blowing out, the incense wouldn't light, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And the ritual was dedicated to a friend's father that I know that has passed away.
Okay.
A stepfather, in fact. Yeah.
Okay. So we're driving around with a friend. We go to this party, and then we want to do a ritual honoring the ancestral world. But for some reason, the candles and the incense don't stay lit. They just are fizz out. So we can't get the flames cannot be, there's not enough oxygen, or it's something that the flames of the inner world are not able to maintain themselves. You know, we want them, these flames of this inner world to flame and to bring us into that world, but we can't get them going. So there's an aspect of that. I would say that the dream ego longs to have a relationship with the inner world, but the inner world right now does not have, is lacking some kind of proper fuel to be related to it. Now, that's a kind of a stab at it. What do you think, Gary? I'm going to write this down, Shu, and we'll discuss it next time. I'll get it down so we can really hear. I couldn't find my
Sure, I
document.
can write it down. I can write it down and email you too. I just need
Yes.
time.
Okay, great, because it basically shows one of these things that is of the failed attempt. So what do you think, Gary?
So when we light a flame, there's this whole concept of it catching. And, and flame is also a metaphor for, for someone or something that we're deeply attached to. So everything on this centers around feeling and the inability for the feeling to take over, because if we get caught up in the feeling, if it flames, if we get taken over by the affect, then the ritual goes forward. Then we can perform the ritual. But before we can do a ritual and have it mean anything, we have to be in the feminine. We have to be in the feeling. Otherwise, it's it means nothing.
There could be an absence. What fuel is lacking? There's either fuel or oxygen lacking.
Well, it's feeling. It's the fuel is feeling.
Yeah, the fuel, the flame represents heart and feeling. The redness of flame. So there is a lack. There is, okay, maybe perhaps that the reason that we can't honor this, even though there is a sincere attempt to do it, the heart is not in it. So the flames cannot catch because it's too conceptual.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure about that, but it sort of reminds me of the turtles on the roof. I mean, what are the turtles on the roof for? I mean, turtles don't belong on the roof; they belong in the depths of the water. What do you think, Roy?
Oh, I was thinking along the terms of the wind blew the flames out. Well, the wind is the pneuma, it's the spirit. the spirits weren't going to cooperate. So maybe it wasn't the right environment of something. The spirits aren't going to cooperate with you.
Well, the
Yeah, I
spiritual
was
is,
going to say, yeah, I was going to say it felt like the wind was blowing it out in the dream. Like it was too windy of a place or something. And it makes sense because why would you run a ritual at a party? You know, it
Yeah.
was the wrong place,
That's-
wrong time.
there you go again. It's the wrong venue, the wrong venue, the wrong attitude, and the windy realms is not conducive to the flame of meaning. You know, it's not still. You know, nirvana, no wind. You know, that's what nirvana means. There's no wind. You know, and samsara, the whirlwind, means this. You know, this living in the realm of fate. You know, what do you think, Tim?
Well, Shu, I'm wondering about the relationship with your friend's father. Is that a guy that you know?
Yeah, I knew him, and you know, I was close to him growing up, and it was a shock when he died. Actually, he did die of a lung illness, actually, so that's another connotation for wind. It made me think of that. But and I'd actually recently received. He was a picture framer, and in his estate, you know, we were just going through his stuff, and I was given some of his frames, you know, of art and things like that. And so maybe it was a memory from that I'd recently received some of his frames.
So I'm wondering why your dreamer would have chosen that particular man. You know, that it seems like that relationship has some kind of meaning.
Yeah. Yes, I feel there's something there. I have to think about it.
Yeah, maybe just do some writing about that or something and see what comes up.
Yeah.
Because the intention is there to have this ritual to honor this man, and yet there's too much wind.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
something is getting in the way.
Yeah.
So it seems like it's a magnanimous thing to do, but there's an obstacle there.
It's a lack of stillness. You know, there's a lack of things are. You know, it's just we need stillness to do this. You know, and are we moving about too much, or we're in a place where there is no stillness? Well, she mentioned, why would we do this at a party? You know, is that the proper venue? Now, it just blows my mind. I'm sure it's just a coincidence that when we're talking about the windy place and that this party is not a venue, and then he dies of a lung disease. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's almost too. Yeah, you know, I just say it. It just, if there was something to it, it's incredible. I'm not saying there was, but it's just incredible.
Yeah, there's just some interesting suggestions in the relationships there.
Yeah,
Yes.
The man with the lung disease. It's too windy to do his to do a.
Interestingly, he was a Virgo sun, and the person that I was driving in the car with is also a Virgo, both ruled by Mercury, who rules the wind. And so, yeah, the more I think about it, there's a lot of wind, mercurial sort of connotations to the dream. And driving is one of them too. Like driving is a very mercurial thing in a car. Going to a party, that's all Mercury. Mercury is trying to tell me something.
Yeah, it's incongruent. You don't go to a party and then suddenly decide to do a ritual honoring the dead. Is that what we do when we go to a party? You know, yeah. Let's honor the dead. you know, here. Now, it's not saying that we shouldn't honor the dead, but you know, if you're going to a party, it should, there's an incongruency here, you know. Now you add to that incongruency the fact that, you know, every time you light a match, it blows out. You light another one, it blows out. You know, I mean, that's sort of a mysterious thing too. What do you think, Charles?
I don't know. I need to think about this one still. It's really short, so it's kind of like very compact. So I feel like it requires more unraveling than a longer dream, actually.
Well, I do have some intimations that's related to other dreams, you know, that it's related to some of her Shu's other dreams. It just seems like you know, Shu, I don't really know that much, but it seems to me that there's sometimes the dreams are wanting us to be less conceptual, you know, a little bit. Do you sense that? I don't know.
What do you mean by less conceptual?
Well, let's just say, you know, the turtles on the roof, the what was the deer dream? I don't know. I just don't know. Where you know, you're a master of the astrological upper world, but you know, I think that the real secret lies in my wisdom body, you know. So how does that tie in with my wisdom? I'm not saying that's true, but I just am. I don't know. I don't know. I want to actually look at some of your other dreams and review them a little bit too, to get the context.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I do sense that too, that it's this, not enough embodiment of the knowledge kind of thing. And they all seem to be very incongruent dreams as well.
Yeah, I mean, let's revive the deer in you, the deer body in you. I mean, needs electric shock to come to life in us. So I mean, the deer body needs to be alive, and you know, now I'm not. This is just totally speculative. So I'm not saying I have any answers.
I definitely think you're onto something. Yeah, that's for sure. Yes.
Well, anyway, I'm gonna, if you can email that to me, let's think about it. And I want to also kind of just quickly review all your other dreams and then review this dream. Gary, you have a dream? I mean, I'm just excited.
Yeah, I know. It's like it's a really boring one, but it's kind of long. So we'll wait till next
just
time.
Email it to me. And Tim,
Okay.
Do you have a dream too?
Oh, I've got one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, why don't you email? We'll do you three guys' dreams next time.
Well, I'll put me at the end of the tail there.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
And also, I wanted to ask you guys: has anybody heard of this new film coming out called The Green Man?
No, I haven't heard of it.
Boy, it's here at a theater, and I want to go see it this week. And I'm just kind of excited because it's about the legend of the Green Knight.
I would love to see
Cool.
it. Oh, that would be so cool. I mean, it really is. You know, stretch out that neck, he says. He says, if you would cut off my head, then anyone can cut off my head, but in a year from now, they have to come and I will cut off their head.
Right.
You know, everybody. Anyway.
Yeah, and it looks like it's well done, so I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
Okay, well, I will definitely watch it. But anyway, great dreams, everybody. And we got a full card next time, and we also kind of want to review Roy's dream a little bit. But Shu, your dream, it would be nice to, even in the case of Tim's dream, I wish maybe we could get a list of all the dreams so we can sort of say, oh yeah. It's just good to have that list. Well, anyway, thank you everybody, and sorry I pooped out yesterday. That was embarrassing, awkward again, and good to see you back, Charles. Charles, by the way, you look a lot more mature. I'm just saying. I think you've hit the maturity, button. Well, thanks everybody. We'll see you next Wednesday if you're here. Shu, if you can't come till next Monday, we'll do your dream next Monday.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks everybody.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you all
See
later.
ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.